this. I'm going to record this to release it later on for you guys. Anyway, so number one would be dealing with idea issues. Number two, we're going to deal with the idea prep for the exam that's happening on Wednesday. I wanted to give you that heads up on the debate we're going to have on the last day of class, which is on Wednesday next week. Monday next week, we'll have our textbook exam, which is going to be covering chapters 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So there's only 5 chapters, a little shorter, with a lot of content on chapter 11, 12, and 13, I believe. There's a lot of content on those, in particular on the COSO framework. So yes, I will release an actual data set of questions that you can study from, and then I will give you the exam on Monday next week. So it's still a little tough. I know that you guys are being so great at keeping up with the Parra class instead of the Kardashians, and I know this is an interesting time, and I feel very, very proud of you guys, because you're still here, you're still dedicated. I know some of you have issues at home, some of you have babies and you're taking care of them. So if you're not in class today and you're having to watch this, it's okay. I'm glad that you're still staying on track. Wednesday though, we have a very important exam, and I need you guys to step it up and make sure you give me your best. Having said that, I'd like to yield the floor so that anybody that has had any issues with the exam. Oh, one last thing, we're going to test the portal as well, and that's going to come up in an in-class activity today. So let's start with me unmuting everybody. Yes, I'm probably just going to give everybody 100 on those. Somebody asked me on the software projects. Now, the software projects are, all of my grades are categorically based. That means everything's weighed by category. So the ones that have the most, if you already have an average and all of your grades on that category are the same, it's very unlikely that your grade will move that much. So let's take a look at homework. Homework has, I see your homework on average, everybody's done so well. There's nothing that can really move that grade that much unless you don't do a homework or you get a 0 on the homework. Same thing for the software project. So whatever average you have, unless it's low, it's gonna stay very much the same with my release of my grades on Wednesday. Finally, the ones that I really think that will impact your final grade is your exams. Your exams are very, very valuable. I am gonna adjust all of the grades this Sunday, but I'm gonna wait until you guys give me a really good grade on this next exam on Wednesday. Otherwise, I don't want people to say, oh, he's gonna drop it, we'll be fine, because my intent is for you guys to be released from me and all of my silliness by Wednesday next week. If we can all do this, of course, all of you are invited to take the final exam, and it will be average 10. And if you choose to do that, that's fine. But if you do not need to take the final exam because you have an A, or I'm extending it to a B average, right? Then you'll be able to walk away with. Now, if you have a B average, I've seen some people jump to an A when they take the final. So don't get discouraged, but that is something you can calculate mathematically before you even go to the exam, and we'll be able to do that on Monday after you take that exam. That's why I want to do the exam on Monday. Then that exam will be posted at 9 o'clock. The grade will be posted right away. I'm going to transfer those grades to a different grade column, and sure enough, you'll have your grade and your overall grade on the class. The only thing that will be pending will be the Wednesday debate that will count as a project. That's basically it. So having said that, let me oh, you're welcome for the videos. You're welcome. So let me unmute everybody. Let me manage participants. Now we have 24. Let me unmute you all for a second. I like to see some faces. I'm getting lonely here with just pictures. Thank you, Na. It's okay if you haven't taken a shower. I won't judge you.
Oh, I'm still working, so I still have to be presentable.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Nice seeing you. I'm gonna start saying names. Bronson, nice to see you. Dory, Na, Kristen, Rosemary, Anna, Ireli, Sally, Matthew, Garrett, Harley, Nora, Angela. See next week as well. Sorry that we won't get to do a picnic on Wednesday at the end, but I think Dr. Lynn is gonna join us for Wednesday. So I would love for you guys to be in your best and your best behavior. And I'll be on my best behavior as well. I'll be on my best behavior. Okay, so having said that, let me start with asking you guys, who is graduating next semester? Raise your hand. Who's graduating this semester? Just one? How about next semester?
I'm done in December. Yeah.
Next semester. Okay, next semester. All right, so I'm gonna give you some advice. You guys, of course, everybody's going left and right, trying to think. And so now let me mute you for a second. So I'm gonna mute everybody for a second. So one of the things that is happening is that we are going over what is the best scenario to get back to class next fall. It is very likely that we're gonna start via virtual until we know for a fact that this can be done on a face-to-face basis. We'll have, there's discussions going on left and right as to how to better serve you. And I know some of you sign up for this, not to see me on a little Zoom with a bunch of Brady Bunches, right? And so, but I hope that we were able to effectively deliver that instruction without impairing you. At times, I think that the videos do a better job because you can pause them and say, what the hell did he say? Excuse me, what did he say? And then you can rewind it and get past the accent. Sometimes you can do that in class, right? And so that is a different format. I understand not everybody likes that as well, but I would tell you this, don't stop. Don't stop, get registered unless you have some pressing issue. Do not stop, because this is the best time. Even if it gets tough for you financially, there's always student loans, and things can always change policy-wise as to how we dispose of those student loans. I think that ultimately, while everybody stops and waits for things to happen, you got to be invested, right? Like, I'm opening a business, or it's whatever it is that you want to do, and this is your journey. Stay on it, because everybody else is thinking about what they're going to do in the summer, and they're already thinking about, how they're going to spend their days, and people are going to get anxious at home, and then they're going to start going out, and then people are going to start spreading it again. And at the end of the day, what will happen is that some of us will waste 4 months of our lives. So it is best to keep going, and by the time, without even thinking, this will be done without you even realizing that. So I know that next semester, and I think some professors should be a lot nicer to you guys while you're online, because there's a lot of things that we expect from you in class, and that you would never happen. Like, now you can come in your pajamas to class. Who doesn't like that, right? And so you'll have a lot of benefits, I think, staying forward. Unless, who is thinking of putting a pause on the classes? Anybody?
I was, because I'm applying to the Fresno State MBA. And they haven't really received a bunch of information what they're going online or what they're going to do, because other MBA programs are just waiting till the spring semester to start.
Yeah, I think we should continue, and I think we should continue to do this online. I believe that there'll be some, we're gonna get hit hard economically in terms of the state. As you know, the state receives most of its funding through sales taxes, through income taxes, and you can, obviously with so many individuals losing their job temporarily, that absence of work in 3 months is going to put a dent on the state's economy, and therefore the funding that comes to Fresno State and other CSU universities is going to be affected. And of course, with you guys not attending class, it's even going to be impacted even further, and so forth. So yeah, we're ready to make sacrifices as professors are concerned to, whether we take furloughs or whatever it is, but we want to make sure that we're available for you and make sure that we can get through this. I believe that you should check again, Jose, because, if I'll tell you one secret, I did my PhD in 2008. I lost my job and I said, what am I going to do? And I was walking, I had a jewelry business. And I met one of my professors, and she said to me, you ought to come to the PhD. And I said, well, I'm not doing anything great. I'm not making that much money. One of the biggest barriers to pursuing your education further is the money that you're making. When you're making a lot of money, you don't want to stop making that money so you can go back and go to school and make less money and go to a stipend of, $500, $1,000 a month. I should say I was getting about 2,000 minus tax, and I still had to pay school. So I was getting about $900 a month. But I said, you know what? Nobody's working right now, so I might as well just get my education out of the way. And guess what? It worked out, and it was a good investment. And so sometimes when you have to pause and work-wise, it is best to accumulate more knowledge while everybody is just trying to figure out how to work in a smaller job. I think that this is it's going to be the perfect time for almost everybody. If economic activity slows down, it is the best time to invest in your education, because nobody's going to pay you a lot more. So the opportunity cost of studying gets reduced immediately. So that's just my take. I think that if you walk away with your master's by next fall or by next spring, it would be amazing, right? And that this is a good time to get it done, because there's not going to be that many people thinking of going to school, and your professors are going to be in a much better mood than normally, because they're not going to be as overwhelmed. So that's just my take on it. So, if you want to discuss this after hours, or just call me and just talk about your plans, by all means, give me a call. But don't quit. Do not quit.
Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? All right. So now I would like to hear all about the idea project.
I thought there was so much information to learn. It was a lot. Like, it was overwhelming for me, but it was a lot of information. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I'm done with it. But I do have to say, it was a lot for me to have to remember.
Yay. It's a lot to remember. Okay.
I feel like there's a lot of screenshots, almost like an unnecessary amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like I learned
if we were in class
screenshotting.
Well, I
had a mental breakdown doing it.
I would normally do it differently. If we were in class, I would be like, just show me what you have and show me the numbers. So we have to adjust, and so
how is the test gonna be like for that? Because there's so much. Like, I can't imagine doing a test like it would have to be like in 2 parts.
Yeah, I know. Okay, we're gonna go over the exam in a minute. It's a very good question, Nora, and I'm gonna just sample 6 questions out of all of them to see, and I'm gonna focus on what's more important, of course. I do want you to be experts on idea. I can't make you an expert in 1 semester unless we were doing this every day with different settings. I wish I had a summer camp that we would just do like a bunch of audits, and we would just delve in and just, actually apply. Now that you know how to do this, let's go. I think we need a second part of this class to go and just learn, or just practice, right? I'm hoping that when you go to your actual employment, you tell them, hey, I know how to do this. Do you mind if I practice? And you do the same thing that you normally do by auditing on an Excel spreadsheet, doing randomization of records to pull all that information in and do the random using idea tools or some other automated tools. Now, the key is being able to use these tools because they're mandated to be used in the future. And depending on the size of the company, you're no longer going to be able to say, oh, I'm just going to look at 5% of the transactions. I don't think that's going to be plausible in the future, especially when you find that some of the statistical approaches that we use in auditing are not always perfect. And it's happened for centuries, right? Like not centuries, even decades. We don't have to go that far in time to realize that some auditors have missed pretty significant fraudulent activity or overstatements, understatements that impact the public. And so I think that eventually we're gonna get there, and very soon in the next couple. Start sharing my screen.